Jason, where do you typically get your news from?
Google News, like the feed, I guess.
Oh, okay. So like traditional media sources.
Um,
Like Google, well, I mean like a newer one, but still.
I mean, like it wouldn't be traditional. I mean, it's like aggregating all of the like news for me. Like it's like, oh, you have like the business news, world news, U.S.
Okay.
news.
Okay, so you wouldn't say you get it from an influencer, would you?
I guess Google influences what I see, so maybe.
But not a
Oh,
social
interesting.
media influencer because 1 in 5 Americans get their news from social media influencers.
Interesting.
It's kind of something like we're doing right now.
I guess, which is not bad. We advocate for that.
we advocate we advocate for things. Okay, so yes, about 1 in 5 Americans say they regularly get their news from news influencers on social media, according to a new study by the Pew Research Center.
Interesting.
While previous research found more women consume media on sites including Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok than men, the new survey suggests close to 2/3 of news influencers are men.
Wait, the news influencers?
Are men.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's a lot to talk about in this story because it is the new way that people are ingesting media or news.
Yeah, I feel like you would watch a news influencer because they, I guess, share a similar point of view to you or like similar opinions on different matters, and then so like they would aggregate the news for you, and it's like it's like oh, they bring up topics that interest you.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. That is true. I have a couple more things to say about this, but before that, if you like interesting content like this, consider subscribing. We put out interesting videos like this all the time, and we have a huge library of videos just like this. So consider subscribing. Um,
Yes.
so, so about 1 in 5 Americans say they regularly get their news from news influencers on social media. Yes, the rise of social media personalities doling out information was particularly true among younger users and comes at a time
Interesting.
of heightened polarization. So, yeah, around the election, because there's a lot of opinions that are being tossed out there, a lot of news coverage from it, not only from like traditional media sources, but from influencers as well. So, um, this is a quote here. We thought about news influencers as a source of authority to their audience about what's happening in the world. This is from Galen Stocking, a senior computational social scientist at the Pew Research Center. And one thing we found when doing that, 65% said that they found information they got from news influencers helped them better understand the world. What are your thoughts on this?
I think a lot of times it can be unrelatable. So like a lot of times it's just you can get the news and it's just not very digestible. So then if you have a certain person that you like to listen to or the way they deliver the information is a lot more personable or like more relatable, then then you could absorb it better. It's just like school. Like sometimes people learn differently, and like you might not like this certain teacher, but you may not dislike the subject.
Yeah, yeah, that's
So I think
true.
it could be like that. And I do think that a lot of different news art like outlets don't really have journalists anymore. It's more like they have personalities they have on there, and they're also speaking their mind. So I
Yeah,
think it's kind of like a continuation of that. And I mean, there are still journalists in both arenas, in social media and
in traditional
in
media,
traditional
yeah.
media.
So it did say close to 40% of adults under 30 who were included in the study said that they stayed informed from independent social media figures, the largest chunk of any age group. That's not surprising at all, by the way,
Yeah,
because they also do mention here it's part convenience. You have access to all the information you need from your phone.
yeah.
So because social media is pushing information to you, the ease of which you have information at your fingertips is difficult to ignore.
Yeah, why would you wait to like go watch the news or something on when you're already like on your phone? So like the phone would like show or like through social media you'd be able to see kind of what's going on anyways.
Yeah, and typically where I hear people get their sources of information, not only YouTube, TikTok, and then I see a lot of people on Reddit that get their news from there on the most up to date topics.
Yeah.
Someone posting about something, so a lot of news flying all the time at people from social media.
Yeah, I think that's also true. That social media definitely has an incentive to keep you. I mean, there's always new bits and pieces of news, interesting tidbits that come out all the time. So I think, it's just like anything else, content. The content creation machine needs to be fed, and I think
That's
like
true.
this type of content that people continuously post kind of feeds into that algorithm.
Yeah, I agree. There is another part of this as well, because they said that convenience can turn into a habit that's hard to break and may lead to greater spread of misinformation. So, a lot of misinformation that gets thrown out there. We put it up here so you guys can read. You guys can see the articles.
We're getting in this.
Yes, it's just to make sure that you guys have all of the facts. So,
Or if you can read it yourself, it's like we're over here kind of giving our opinion on it and kind of seeing like what's going on, and synthesizing a lot of the information. But
yeah, and giving our take. Yeah, like what you mentioned, giving our takes on it. So they said when you're getting information through social media, how do you know how original that information is? He said it's very hard to verify that, and unfortunately, the algorithm doesn't care. It just keeps sending you the same kind of information. So it kind of reminds me of the AI and the algorithms feeding you into the content machine of
like if you're really into conspiracy theories, you're gonna hear like a lot of conspiracy theories because like, oh, this is the type of content you like. If you like flat Earth conspiracy theories, then you're going to get a lot of flat Earth conspiracy theories.
Yeah, a couple of the things that they do mention. Social media site X remained the most popular, with 85% of influencers responding, reporting that they were on the site. Meta-owned Instagram took second place, while YouTube, the most popular platform for Gen Z, or people born between 1997 to 2012, came in third. TikTok sat below Meta's Threads, and Facebook as the sixth most popular among influencers. So it's just the sites, shared information between sites and stuff.
I think the weird thing is that this is interestingly skewed, because even if you're a YouTuber, you probably would have some sort of like presence on other platforms.
Oh,
I feel
yeah,
like
100%.
the thing is that like 85% of influencers are on Twitter or X, and that's because people just have a Twitter or X, because that's just the thing you do. Once you get big enough, you need
multiple platforms.
But I feel like X is the type of thing like it's the, I guess the
everything out.
Not quite that. I think it's like the village square where you put out information. It's like a bulletin board. You can like just put out information to everybody, and they just know that that's where you get kind of the information. However, like that might not be the platform that they're posting on. Like they might be like a TikToker, but they also have an X account to put out information to their people.
Yeah, I was gonna say that one of the people who comes to mind as a big social media like news influencer would be Philip DeFranco.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Philip DeFranco, who does like weekly, or he does videos like every day of the week. He does long episodes. Yeah, he does a lot of videos, and then he also has multiple other channels. He has multiple news sources and stuff. So he gets a lot of views for like just reporting on the news. So when I think of social media like news influencers, I think of him first, and I think that it's just like I do see more and more people coming out and talking about the news. Yeah.
I mean, there's also like CoffeeZilla, and he's like a journalist more or less, and like he like breaks the news in terms. I feel like he directs a lot of the news too around him.
Yeah,
because he does a lot of the investigation, and it's like everybody starts kind of generating content around those types of investigations that he pulls out.
Yeah.
So it's like
he's not working for like the New York Times, or he's not working for like all these big news outlets. It's just social media.
Yeah. I mean, like his Patreon.
Oh yeah, true.
So which funds the
$1 Million Studio?
Yeah.
Or $10 million studio? I think it's that one.
Yeah.
But yes, I would not want to know from our audience what they think about news influencers and who they watch.
I think going back to the thing, like this is the last thing for me. I think the issue about misinformation and everything is going to get even worse because of the AI generated one.
Yeah.
It'll become so easy to generate content. It was already crazy because like the bots are already out of control, and it's like a lot of the content you see, like mostly, I think it's probably like the stuff I see probably like maybe 15%, 20% AI generated stuff, which I normally just skip past because I just don't really find it that interesting. But I think it's going to get worse and worse because we've learned more and more about how influential social media can be, and now that it's even easier to create content, you don't even need to like hire somebody to make
No,
and
you don't.
say the things. You can just put in a prompt, and it's like, oh, like
Text to speech, yeah.
yeah, text to speech. You like just write what you need to say, and then it'll just generate a whole segment on whatever you want to talk about, whole
Yeah.
podcast, whole thing, whole
Yeah,
video.
It's crazy. It's gonna be crazy. Sooner or later, we're not gonna be here because we're
Oh,
gonna be
definitely not.
we're gonna be taken over by AI. But
It'll be easy. It'll be immediately.
it'll be a smooth transition.
You won't even notice.
But yes, let us know your thoughts in the comment section down below.